Welcome to episode 3 of our Azamara Quest Australian adventure. In this episode we visit our 51st country, Indonesia. We start exploring Bali. Carole gets attacked by a giant insect. It's not giant, but it is hilarious. And we experience our first ever AzAmazing Evening.
Morning.
Right then.
Guess what? We got the time wrong again. Our clocks have changed, haven't they?
But I don't know what's going on. The trouble is our clocks have changed. We've tried to anticipate the change by when we set the alarm. We ordered breakfast to be delivered at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
We thought, well, you know, that's a nice time. We're docking in Bali.
Yeah.
We might get to see a bit of the sailing. It's all going to be marvellous. So we set the alarm for what we thought was 7:30. Give us half an hour to wake up. Unfortunately, like we've said before, no kettles in the room, so we can't have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee to wake us up.
We've got a Diet Coke.
I've got a full fat Coke. And I'm thinking, like, where's our breakfast? So I go out into the corridor, and there's two room service gentlemen just walking down, not with anything in hand.
Cabin stewards.
No, they weren't cabin stewards.
Oh.
They were posher than cabin stewards.
Posher?
Yeah, they were all like waistcoated up and stuff.
We are surrounded by sweets, though, aren't we?
Yeah.
So maybe they're butlers.
So I said, I don't suppose you could tell me what the time is, because our breakfast hasn't arrived. And he said, it's 7:15, sir. I said, well, that'd be why it hasn't arrived then. And he sort of looked at me quizzically. He said, well, why hasn't it arrived then? I said, because we ordered it for 8 o'clock. So we actually got up at 6:30 for no reason at all.
Well, our clocks have... Anyway, we're up.
Yeah, we're up.
And it was
anyway.
lovely, actually, because we witnessed the whole sail into Bali. So we're going to wait for our breakfast to arrive.
Yeah, just another 4 hours for the
We'll have it
breakfast,
out on the
yes.
balcony because we've got a lovely balcony.
Yeah.
So so we'll let you know how we get on with that. After that, we're off on our first excursion in Bali, which is called
Bali on your own.
yeah.
It is, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, some exotic excursion. Bali on your own.
We're going to Ubud. I think that's how it's called, isn't it?
I don't know, mate.
Yeah, off to Ubud.
I never get involved in pronunciations. I let you do it, and then if it's horribly wrong, which in all fairness
Mostly
usually
it is, yeah.
then I can just laugh at you at a later date.
Yes, our first time in Bali, so we're very excited.
Yeah, so first visit to Indonesia.
Yes.
So if we're counting that as a country,
well, it is a country.
well, there you go.
It's country 51.
Country 51.
Ooh. Right then, so breakfast has arrived, and look at our little setting. How awesome's that? With a view over Bali. So Paul's ordered, obviously, Eggs Benedict, and I just had some toast. But Paul, we've heard that they're called Norwegian donuts, aren't they, Paulie?
And they're supposed to be the future.
Yes.
It's coconut, and then they've got like a creamy stuff inside. But I'm sure we'll have a video of me scoffing one of them shortly
Exactly.
once I've got the eggs.
And I got Marmite. Woohoo!
This isn't actually Eggs Benedict. It's like a tomato, then it's got corned beef hash, and then it's got the egg on top, so it's a different twist on that. This may or may not be. Oh my word, look at that.
Gouville Central.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just perfect.
Perfect. Ooh, very nice.
That is delicious. Right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a Norwegian donut. Let's go.
Oh my god, look at that ooze.
Come on, man.
Is that awesome?
No.
God, the food we've had is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's custard. Custard, coconut donut and custard. Ooh, there's 2 there. Am I going to have one?
You said you just wanted toast, didn't you?
I did.
Let me tell you this now, right? You know what I'm like for not sharing smashy cake? That is so rich, I don't think I could eat
2. Good.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat one and save one for later.
So as you can see, Paul had difficulty eating those donuts. What have you got to say for yourself?
Did you have a bite?
I had 1 bite.
And there's 1 bite there, so I didn't eat both donuts, did I? I think the evidence is there for everybody to see. You casting aspersions on me. How very dare you?
But as you can see, we've had a delicious breakfast. Perfect spot.
Carole
Yes.
hasn't mentioned the 7 pieces of toast you have, but
I had 3. Yes, I love Marmite. We're going to tell you all about our first day in Bali, which has been brilliant, hasn't it?
Yes, indeed.
Now, before we got to Bali, our passports were taken off us and held at reception for all the Indonesian immigration, and we've been given a QR code which we've had to carry around in our bag to get on and off the ship, but also we've had to take our vaccination evidence too.
Yes.
Now, nobody's asked for that, but they have asked for the QR code, so make sure if you are cruising, whatever the cruise ship tells you to take off, make sure you take it off, because you just never know.
Yeah, 75% of it's usually like a waste of time. And they did relieve us of $35 for the pleasure of this QR code as well.
Yes,
didn't
they did.
The Indonesian visa, which they neglected to mention at any point leading up to the cruise, but you know, hey ho.
Yeah, all countries. That is a good valid point actually, Paul, because every country we go to now, there is some sort of do expect further charges and budget for it, because every country does the same, don't they?
Expect the unexpected. So that's just number 1 of Paula's moans of this particular day.
Well, the other moan we haven't had, Azamara insisted that we had a COVID test done prior to leaving the UK, even though Singapore government guidelines didn't recommend it, or Australian, and at no point have they asked to see proof of it. So we're a bit miffed about that, because that was 130 quid, wasn't it?
It was £130, and anybody that follows our social media, I've got to tell you something, it's like
sorry. My brain thinks, and my mouth just
I don't know if anybody watched the Fast Show, but there was this 2 characters, and it was the lovely Caroline Ahern played the one character, and her husband was called Roy, and he wasn't allowed to say anything because Caroline Ahern would be, trolley dolly, Roy, trolley dolly, and it.
You carry on then.
But are you sure?
Yes.
Thank you. So yes, it wasn't just the money; it was the fact that the thought of us, failing that test and like this biggest trip in our lifetime would be like cast asunder was like quite a very emotional time. And I don't mind admitting that Carole cried when we got our results, and I wasn't far short of it. And all this, and then we get to the ship and they don't even ask to look at it.
Let's move on to Bali, because Bali is beautiful, isn't it? Well, let's move on to how we got to Bali. We booked the Ubud do it on your own excursion, because we thought, let's go to one of the big sort of town cities in Bali and have a good mooch around and see what our first impressions were like.
Is that what it was called, was it?
Ubud.
No.
UBUD.
No, the excursion, what was it called?
Ubud on your own.
You said do it on your own.
No, it's called
Ubud on your own. You said do it on your own.
Did I?
Yes.
So we got off the ship with our QR codes and we headed to the coach. Now, do you want to take over now, Pauline?
Number 3. I know that in Asia people are built differently to in Europe, but the coach they sent, I don't know who they expected to get on this coach. You had to be like 3'7" to fit. Luckily, our bus wasn't full. We had about 5 or 6 empty seats, but it was physically impossible for me to sit in any of the seats.
Yeah,
and I was
okay.
I know I got a bit of a beer belly coming on, but it was nothing to do with the beer belly. It was physically because I'm only 5'10". I'm not like 7'9", and I physically couldn't fit behind the seats. The only way I could sit down was to sit with my back. So basically, I'd have to sit on my back like this, and my legs were going across the seat, which meant then I'm at this brand new land that I've never experienced before. and I can't look out the window because I have to have my back to the window because I couldn't physically sit in a position where I could see anything.
There's something crawling up over our...
Oh, it's a little fly thing. I thought...
It's not a little fly thing, mate. It's like a big alligator.
Oh, a big alligator.
Ah!
This big alligator is about the size of my little fingernail. Oh, you're going to have to show the camera, mate, this big alligator. I mean, look at this big alligator.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, my God, mate, I'm scared.
I know, but let's throw it out the window.
Oh, no.
Let's put it on the patio.
I'll be back in a minute.
Ah! I was wondering what that... There you go, my little friend. Put him on the table. Oh, get off. Ah.
It's on your foot.
It's on my foot. No! Ah!
Oh, for Christ's sake, mate.
Ah!
Jesus Christ, amazing.
I don't know what that was. Oh, we don't know what the creatures are here, do we? Anyway, sit back down. Back to Bali.
Yeah, so...
and Paulie's on the bus.
So Carole's just laid an egg, anyway, over the smallest insect I've ever seen in my life.
You saw it, you seen how big it was. It was a bit that big.
Massive.
What was it? You don't even know, though.
Mate, it was an insect.
Anyway.
When you were talking, you had a bloody crocodile on your leg.
Anywho.
So, bus seat's rubbish.
It was over an hour to get
hour
there.
and a quarter journey. Didn't seem like the bus had any suspension. It was creaking and rattling and groaning.
The thing about going to different countries, this is what I feel is the charm. Where Paul finds it.
What happened every time you touched the brakes?
Oh, it was squeaking.
It wasn't squeaking, mate. It was howling like there was no brake.
But we were
pads on
having
it.
such a laugh that we were
in
surrounded.
keeping with the surroundings and having something that's a death trap, I see as two different things.
Well, I do.
Because all the cars in Bali are all ultra modern and brand new.
Well, anyway, we got there safely and we got chatting to some lovely Australian people again around us, didn't we? And we arrived in Ubud and it did not disappoint. It's full of charm, it's full of, everywhere you look, you're like, oh my gosh, there's temples, there's statues, there's...
There's more statues.
Yeah, loads of statues. We had some really good food. And if you ever want a taxi in Ubud...
If we encountered 1,000 people that day in Ubud, I think 998 of them were taxi drivers.
Yes. Yeah, to get a taxi would be very easy. And there's also, we didn't do it, but there's also massage you can get for about $5 to $10, wasn't it? So that would have been good as well. But we wanted to have a good walk around, and let's show you some of the sights that we've seen. that was Bali. Thoroughly enjoyed Ubud, didn't we, for the day?
Ubud, yes.
It was really nice. We had about 3 hours there, and Maddie, our guide, was very amusing. So we learned a lot about the Balinese culture as well. So first impressions of Bali is like, yes, this is our sort of rustic, earthy place that I think we would like to come back to.
But I do have to say that we've used to go to Thailand a lot, and I think now the pandemic's over, we'll start doing that again as well.
Yeah.
But one thing that we got in Thailand that we definitely get here as well is it's very difficult to walk along and look at stuff because the pavements looks like they've been subject to some sort of war zone.
Yeah.
There's like holes and
Yeah.
there's slabs missing, and then it'll go in a dip and then it'll go up. And the trouble is there's so many sights and sounds going on around you that you're excited to look at. How we never fell over. You had a 2 or 3 where you nearly went down, didn't you? And I did the same.
Yeah.
But it's,
if you've got mobility issues, it's going to be really difficult to explore.
Yeah.
But we did see some fascinating sights. The health and safety. After we've been in the UK, where things are so blooming strict, aren't they, with everything, which for good reason. We spotted, wasn't it? I don't know if you're going to see the little video. I think you took it.
Well, we saw 3 men who had like shinned up a lamppost.
Yeah.
And were trying to replace an electric cable. They didn't have a ladder, there was no scaffolding, no nothing. They'd literally shinned up the lamppost.
Yeah.
And then we walked down this little alleyway where there was like a bit of a street market.
Yes.
And there was a man just sat on a pile of rubble, and he was cutting bricks with a circular saw, a metal circular saw. He had no gloves, he had no glasses on, and he had no shoes on.
But this is interesting. That's why you walk around, you're like, oh my. And if you want to buy souvenirs in Ubud, then that's the place to get them. There was lots of shopping to be had. So that was our day in Ubud, and we got back on the coach, and I managed to sleep all the way back, didn't I? Paul didn't. But anyway, so we come back to the ship. It was time to get ready for our first AzAmazing night.
Shall I say it as you got it wrong?
Go.
It was time to get ready for our first AzAmazing night. Not AzAmazing, AzAmazing.
Right then, let's talk to you about our AzAmazing.
Go on, you can do it.
AzAmazing event. Yes. So that was right, wasn't it?
Which one? You said about 8. You said about 8 times. One of those she said was right.
For those of you who don't know, Azamara are renowned for their immersion, their destination immersion, aren't they?
Yes.
When they take you to different countries, they put on a complimentary event, so it's no extra cost, where they take all passengers off, all those passengers that want to, off to a venue in that country, and where you can experience the local culture, basically.
It's not compulsory. They don't. They don't put a bag over your head and kidnap you. But but if you want to go. And to be frank, you'd be mad not to go, wouldn't you?
Well, exactly. Why wouldn't you if you're visiting that country? So we were given specific instructions that we had to meet over the tannoy.
Sorry.
That from each deck we were called to the coaches. We got on the little coaches as we explained before, and we were taken to this absolutely beautiful venue, weren't we? Where we knew that obviously we were going to be seeing some sort of show, because we've obviously seen it in the programme here. We were going to be our AzAmazing Evening event. So I did say it right. AzAmazing. No, it's not AzAmazing. Anyway, as you can see,
I think I think this is finally the realisation has finally kicked in. Everybody who watches our videos, what I've got to put up with.
Good job you loves me there.
It is a good job, I love her.
So here it is.
But don't she ever talk some rubbish.
So, when we got there...
Well, let me just start by saying, when I got on the coach, we were very lucky because we had the seats right behind the driver, which meant that Carole could get in because she's only Thumbelina. And then I sat on the outside and I could have my legs out into the walkway. I still couldn't sit square, but it was the best of a bad job.
It was. And they took us to a venue. It was only 10 minutes on the coach, thankfully, wasn't it? Again, a fabulous guide that was just telling us all about the Balinese culture, etc. And as soon as we got there, we were welcomed by obviously the local entertainers, and I didn't realise the captain and cruise director and all the officers were there as well, just waiting to greet us in. Anyway, I think the best way to explain to you about what an amazing evening that we had is just to show you some snippets.
Was it amazing?
It was.
Or was it as amazing?
It was actually, wasn't it? No. But just to let you know, we've made because it was such a fantastic event. We put actually out a separate video of this evening.
We found it absolutely fascinating, to be honest. Now, whether people are watching and think, "Oh my God," but it was something we've never seen before.
Yes.
What I managed to do, because of this is the selfless person I am. Where we were sat, it was virtually impossible to get any good footage. So I stood up for the entire show. The fact that it was very close to the bar where I stood up is neither here nor there, and anybody who tries cast aspersions, I won't have any of it. But so I did manage to get what I would consider to be some pretty, only off my phone, but some pretty good footage. So we've put together a video. It's not going to be 4 hours long, but it will just give you an indication
it's a few minutes long.
Of all the different dances they did with the music, and it was parts of it was almost like a British pantomime, to be fair.
It was.
Because you see there was
quite amusing.
you didn't know what was
really
going
understand what was going on.
But there was this one particular dance where there was goodies and baddies, and and the baddies got carried away, and it was we can, but I just got quite excited.
You
did.
Then after a fantastic evening, we were only there for what, 2 hours? Maybe not even that, hour and a half.
And I must admit, I had 2 beers.
I had 2 glasses of wine. That's 6. Anyway, we came back to the ship, and as we were walking towards the ship,
let me stop you. When we got back on the little Toy Town bus, 2 people had nicked our seats, so we had to go right to the back. And again, it was like, if in all fairness, how far it was from the ship, I wish I'd have jogged back.
Jogged? When was the last time you jogged?
I wish I'd have walked back.
We had to get him out with a shoehorn afterwards. But anyway, when we got back to the ship and went back through immigration, it was very quick, not like Singapore.
Oh, I just have to say something about immigration, which I think is absolutely hilarious. So, they've got the scanner you have to walk through, and they've got the bag scanner you have to put your bag through. Now, they've got somebody looking at the bags going through the bag scanner, but they've got nobody at all where you walk through the scanner, the physical scanner. So they're looking at your bags, but everybody that walked through the human scanner, it was going beep, 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 and lighting up red, and you look around, it's like, there's nobody here, so you just pick your bag and carried on walking. So you could have had anything at all walking through the human scanner, just don't put it in your bag. So if you've got like a bazooka or something like that, keep it on your shoulder, don't put it in the bag. And I just thought, that is just the most random security I've ever seen.
But it was very quick, so it was good.
Was it? It made it super quick.
But as we turned the corner to go back on the ship, we could hear some operatic singing coming through. We thought, oh my God, they put on some music for us. And the captain again was there, and his officers.
There's about 5 captains in there.
Captain Johannes.
No, I mean, but there's about 5 of them everywhere we go.
Well, what we've said, apart from our initial blip, which you'll have seen in our previous episodes, the officers and staff around this ship, they're just everywhere. Which is really lovely to see, isn't it? So that's been a real bonus about cruising with Azamara.
It makes it even more sort of annoying that like one person has really
tainted to the start. However, now we feel like we're a real part of the Azamara family, and I know that sounds a bit weird, doesn't it?
I know, but I just said I think it makes it, when you see how good everybody else has been, it almost makes it more disappointing of how bad that one individual was.
But anyway, we don't want to go back up to that, do we? Because we're having a fabulous time.
Yes, we are. We're having an AzAmazing time. What time are we having, Annie?
AzAmazing time. Anyway, we looked up and there's a lady on the promenade deck singing the most beautiful operatic. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put much in here because of copyright, but we were like, oh my God, it made me feel a bit emotional. It was just wonderful. beautiful voice, absolutely beautiful, and that just finished off the evening perfectly, didn't it?
Well, I know what finished the evening off perfectly for Carole. We went because there wasn't any food at the event. They told you to eat before you go. And I'm going to go on a little tangent now because I haven't talked about the food as much as I'd like, because it is fantastic, the food. Absolutely spectacular. They put a little buffet on as well, and we went there, and much to Carole's delight, they had sausage rolls.
They did.
So we had some sausage rolls.
Yes.
We had some chicken fingers. Now, I didn't even know chickens had fingers, but we had some chicken fingers, and we had some pepperoni pizza. Only little bits. And I have to say, it was all blooming delicious.
And we brought it back to our balcony and just sat there and ate that and just reminisced and sat there chatting about what a wonderful evening we had.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
So thank you so much, Azamara. Apparently these the AzAmazing Evenings have just restarted because of post-COVID. So we're really lucky that we're able to have it on our cruise, because friends that have been on them previously in the previous months, they hadn't restarted because obviously it meant going out in groups, etc.
I think they said it was only the third one they'd done in over 2 years.
Yeah, so we're very thankful for that. So thank you so much for Azamara. That was absolutely
brilliant.
AzAmazing. Woo!
Join us in episode 4 when we visit a Balinese beach. We show you what the Azamara Quest has to offer on a sea day, and we visit, in our opinion, the best burger bar at sea.